A friend of mine came over to Tokyo and she suggested, why don't you become a tour guide?
Even when I was a kid, like I was one of the fat kids. And I know like people did say that in my back because everyone speaks the same language, but still like people have feeling. And
The most important thing is at the beginning, there is something you find annoying, then don't expect these people to change.
hello everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Founders Decoded. Today we have Nikki, who is and who runs a travel agency in Tokyo, but originally from Netherlands. And she started her career as a tour guide, tour leader, and now she's running an entire company in Tokyo to give unique experiences to people. And thank you for having with us on Founders Decoded, Nikki. Want to know your journey of entrepreneurism. How did um, you start being a tour group leader, and
Mhm.
then pivoted towards slowly to having your own company? And how do you think the future of your company that you want to navigate it to? So we want to know everything.
Yeah, sure. Well, I came to Japan in 2011. And
Hmm.
to be honest, I didn't do a lot of research. I figured my English is not too bad. I have a bachelor degree, so it will be easy to find a job there.
Hmm.
But I soon found out that as long as you're not fluent in Japanese, there's not a lot of options. So
Hmm.
I thought, oh, well, just study Japanese for 6 months and then I'll be fluent. So 2 years in, I still wasn't fluent in Japanese. So a friend of mine came over to Tokyo and she suggested, why don't you become a tour guide?
Hmm.
And my background is in economy and marketing. So it's like, tour guide. I don't know anything about tourism. How am I going to do this? I don't know anything about Japanese history. And she said, oh, you just create a rudimentary website and an email address, and then the rest will follow. So, more
Hmm.
to kind of show her that it was a rubbish idea. I created a website and email address just so I could rub it in her face, like, see, it's not working. It's a bad idea. I should have never started with it. But unfortunately, I couldn't rub it in her face because after 1 week, I already received an email from clients saying, oh, I see you do guided tours in Tokyo. We would love to book a tour with you. So I was literally blown away, like, oh my God, I didn't prepare anything, and these people want to do a tour with me. So yeah, I had to adjust a lot, and also I didn't know that much. So
Hmm.
whenever a client would have a story, I would be like, or a question, I would be like, oh yes, this is a good question, and then I would just make something up, and then they would be like, oh, I see over there is a sign. Let me read it. And I'd be like, no, come on, let's go. Let's look over there. So in the beginning, not all of my stories were 100% based in truth. But yeah, I mean, you start to learn on the job. And of course, you start to read more books and watch YouTube videos and documentaries and whatever you can. You ask people questions. What about this? What about that? What about that? And then
Yeah.
slowly start to learn more and more. So then when I was doing that for 3 months, a girl, she contacted me and she asked me, oh, I see you offer guided tours. Can I come and work for you? And then I was like, work for me? I never expected I would ever hire someone. So I was like, okay, do I get this straight? You will be working and I'm gonna get paid? And she was like, yeah, that's generally how that works. And
Yeah.
I was like, that actually sounds really good. Yeah, I would love to have an occasional day off and to even make money when I'm not working. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And then slowly I started hiring more people and I started working with travel agents who wanted to sell my tours.
Hmm.
And they were like, oh, yeah, Tokyo is great, but what about Kyoto? What about Osaka? What about Hiroshima? What about Nagasaki? What about
Yeah.
Takayama? So I was scrambling to get more people like, oh my God, okay, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
And now we have about 75 guides that work for Tokyo Tours.
Mm.
And last year, I also started Elite Travel Experiences
Hmm.
because I noticed that there's basically two ways that you can travel to Japan. Well, three ways actually. You can go as a backpacker, but not many people do that.
Hmm.
So either it's fit travel, where the travel agent will book your flight, will book your hotels,
Mm.
will book your train tickets, but then once you come to Japan, you're basically up to your own devices. Like, okay, I need to be in Hakone in 2 days' time. How am I gonna get there? What am I gonna do there?
Yeah.
Uh, what time should I leave? What time should I arrive at the hotel? So many questions where people don't really think about until they're actually in Japan.
Hmm.
So and the other way to travel to Japan is you are in a bus with 20 other people or more.
Hmm.
The bus takes you everywhere, but you have no um,
Yeah.
autonomy. So the people that travel with you or the tour leader will be like, no
Time's
time,
up.
time, come
Yeah.
on, get back to the bus. We're going to the next stop. And some people walk fast, some people walk slow. So it's
Yeah.
always a struggle. So I thought there should be something in the middle that will give you the luxury of traveling by bus where you don't really have to think about anything, but you
Hmm.
still have some autonomy where you can decide, oh, I actually want this for lunch or I want to stay here a bit longer. So that's why I started Elite Travel Experiences, where we travel with small groups of no
Hmm.
more than 6 people.
Hmm.
So since it's a small group, you can discuss things with your fellow travelers, or sometimes it might be just you and your traveling partner if we cannot match you with any other travelers. And then you have the luxury on the one hand and still the flexibility of traveling by yourself. So, yeah, I'm working on that. And on top of that, I am publishing a book called Sushi, Sarcasm, and Second Chances, uh, which is about a woman called Nicole
Hmm.
and how she embarks on her life in Japan and what she faces and what she struggles with, and all these cultural barriers that you don't really think about, and unwritten rules that are very easy to break because no one ever tells you anything.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, if you watch a vlog of someone who travels to Japan for 2 weeks, they're like, "Oh, Japan is great, and Japanese people are like this, and this is good, and that is great." And then I'm like, well, really, in 2 weeks, you can't really call yourself an expert on everything Japanese. So
Yeah.
a lot of the things that you are saying are either off the mark or completely inaccurate. So I stopped watching these videos because it just antagonizes me. Like, no, it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You're bringing a little bit of Japanese in you out as well. How it's said, how Japanese people are straightforward and getting what they want. But at the same time, like, I like your journey I'm curious about sushi and sarcasm, to be honest, at this point. I did not know when we were talking earlier.
You're curious about what?
Sushi and Sarcasm, the book you're writing?
Oh, yes, yes. Yes, so it's basically a love story. So
Mm,
it follows Nicole from when she is still living in Rotterdam and she's single, and then she meets her boyfriend
mhm,
who happens to be a Japanese
mm,
person and who invites her to travel to Japan and come and live there. And it follows her up until COVID when no one actually comes to Japan and the whole
yeah.
dream basically explodes because, yeah, there's no one traveling to Japan. That's your only source of income. What are you going to do?
Hmm.
So, um, yes, that's how she was faced with a lot of adversity and how she overcomes that and how she conquers all these struggles. And yeah, and she does have two love interests in the book. So that's also interesting that how she navigates life. And she has a daughter in Japan. So how that works out. Like, what is it like to be a mom and try to navigate life? And then it's like Japan 2.0, because if you thought that things were strict before, once
Yeah,
you become a mom, it's like another level because people have these certain expectations of you, like how to behave or what to do or what not to do. And if you don't fit inside the mold, they will definitely hold it against you. So either tell you in your face or start gossiping behind your back, and you hear
oh,
them talk about you. And you're like, "Wow, what are they saying about me?" So yeah,
it's like High School 2.0 at this point.
exactly. Yeah, people always say, "Oh, Japanese people are so polite and so friendly and so kind." Yes, if you cannot speak Japanese, then that is probably your experience. But if you know what they're saying behind your back, then it's a different matter altogether.
Definitely, because like there was this massage place I go to in New York, um, done by Asian ladies and Asian men. And when me and my friend get massages, they keep on talking something in Chinese. And when I ask them what they're saying, what they're asking, I wish I had known, because like sometimes they laugh, sometimes they talk about other things. And one time I took my Chinese friend with me to understand what exactly they are talking. And unfortunately, her Chinese is, because she's American Chinese, uh, her Chinese is actually pretty low. She said some things that were like, oh, that were about us, like what they think about our body, but they kind of kept on laughing. I was like, oh, initially I felt polite. Now I don't want to come to this place.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was standing in line to get food, and there were two Japanese guys behind me, and I was pregnant at the time. And
Hmm.
they were like, "Look at her. She's pretty fat, don't you think?" Yeah, I think so too. Would you ever go out with a woman like that? No, I would never. Look at her. She looks disgusting. And then I was like, "Oh my God." I was so shocked. I couldn't even say anything in terms of a reply because I was like, "Oh, I was not expecting them to talk to me like that."
Yeah, people are sensitive about that. Because like even when I was a kid, like I was one of the fat kids,
Mm.
and I know like people did say that in my back because everyone speaks the same language, but still, like people have feelings, and it does not feel good. I think like also like pregnancy is not the thing that you say about fat about, because giving life is entirely a different experience. I
Yeah.
have not lived through, but at the same time, like it it is like ultimate. Like I respect my parents very much, and I think like people who can give life, they only can take life, not any other people.
Yeah, exactly. Well, even my daughter, when she was 5, 6 years old, she had a little bit of baby fat, and my mother-in-law, who's Japanese, was always complaining, like, "Oh, she's so fat, and this is a health problem. You have to address it. You have to put her on a diet." I was like, "She's a tiny bit chubby, but
Yeah,
nothing that she cannot grow out of." So now she's 11 and she's skinny and athletic and has completely grown out of the baby fat phase.
yeah,
So I'm like, see, nothing happened really, but I don't think at that age it's really good for kids to be told like you're fat or you're ugly or you need to go on a diet or exercise more. Like she's 6, come on, give her a break.
yeah,
There's enough time when people can be judgmental and harsh
yeah,
towards let's wait until she's an adult at least and give her a break until at least she's 18. But yeah,
yeah,
Japanese people are very concerned about the way people look and how much you eat and what is your portion size. They
mm,
believe like you should never eat more than 80% of what you can
mm,
actually finish
yeah,
because it's not good for you to eat like 100%. You never should feel completely full.
yeah,
Which, I mean, if that's what they believe, then that's fine. But really harsh towards other people who don't live by that guideline, it's like just let them live.
yeah,
Let them do whatever they want to do. It's not your life. If that's not something you want to do, then you don't do it. But don't tell other people what to do. But
yeah.
that's like the favorite pastime of Japanese people. Tell other people what to do.
In India, like with respect to food, it's opposite. So when I was in boarding school, even though like I gained weight like as an adult, like as a kid, I visit my grandma's place and um, even my home. Uh, Both will be like, "Oh, Revant, you became skinnier." I'm like, "What? I actually gained weight.
Yes.
I have proof for this. I have proof for this because we have a monthly weigh-ins." And
Hmm.
they'll be like, "Oh, you're reducing weight. You're a growing boy. You need to eat food." And they literally like keeps um an entire plate of food. Like, even if you say you're done, there's one more round coming in from
Oh, okay, okay.
the
Yes.
kitchen, which is very hot, ready food. Even if you say no, that's enough, it'll be like, no, this is the last one for you. This is the last one for you.
Well, that's not healthy either. Well, I guess in China it's the same. If you finish what's on your plate, then it means like you didn't have enough to eat. So
Yeah,
you always have to leave some behind in your cup, but also on your plate to indicate like, yeah, I was just really full. I couldn't finish everything. And
yeah,
in China, they're more wrapped up in this whole food culture. Like instead of saying hello,
yeah,
oftentimes you will say, "Have you eaten yet?"
yeah,
That's like the formal greeting. Like, "Have you eaten?"
yeah,
Whereas in Japan, if you want to say hello to someone, you ask about their health. Like, are you feeling healthy? How is your bodily condition? So it's a completely different way of approaching things and what is important for one culture as opposed to another. Even though they live very close together, they're diabolically opposed of one another and have completely way different ways of thinking about things.
Yeah, no, I agree. Even like Japan and Korea, Japan and China, China, Korea, all three are
Mhm.
entirely different cultures. And what I noticed, even region-wise, they have also a different style of culture, like how every state has different culture, which is nice to have that and good to know. And
Exactly. I mean, Osaka, historically wise, has been a merchant town, and it's where all the big comedians come from. So
mm,
it is said that people from Osaka generally have a better idea of like sense of humor, what is funny and what's not funny. They're more lighthearted, they'll make a joke out of anything. Whereas in Tokyo, like a city of government workers, so
yeah,
everyone is super serious and everyone is like, "Oh, what's the other people gonna think of me?" So yeah, no one wants to stick out or uh, get noticed or be different. Whereas Kyoto, it's a lot of scholars, so
mm,
they feel that they are better than other people. So they often talk down even towards other Japanese people, like, oh, look at so and so, they're like this and that. And they're like, yeah, but they're Japanese like you. Like, no, they're not like us. We're from Kyoto. Like, uh,
yeah, it's like people saying, "Oh, I'm from California," but at the
yeah.
same time, like, "Oh, I'm from." Sometimes some people like in when you go to a networking meeting, "Oh, I'm from. Are you from California?" No, I'm from SoCal. Again, they divided by again state with two parts because like sometimes people refer SoCal and NorCal, and there is a little bit cultural disparity between those two as well, but everyone gets along, which is good.
Mhm.
And yeah, and curious again, was the book based on your life?
Um, it's loosely based. So, there are certain characters that are based on people I know, but there's also characters that are completely made up or that are like a
Fictional.
mix of two or three different people. So there's some similarities maybe with my life, but most of it is actually just made up or embellished or
Yeah, I'm curious to read about it. I'm curious also when is it releasing, if you have a target date.
yes, so right now I just got the new version back where they did the spell check. So now I have to go through all 272 pages to reject or accept any change they made. So they gave me 2 weeks to finish that, and then we'll go to the new phase. So the outside of the book has been designed. So there's just going to be a few little things that still need to be done. But
Mm,
yeah, it could be published in the next few months. So I'm hoping that we can do it
yeah.
on or before the summer holiday because then a lot of people will be traveling and they might be interested to pick up a book for in the airport or in the airplane and they'll be interested to read about sushi, sarcasm, and second chances.
Yeah, definitely, because like it is a very one catchy name, two, there is a love story, three, cultural, like it feels a very lighthearted, but at the same time like a realistic storyline. And it is a good airport book to read. That's what it feels like. Even just like, oh, you're going to a destination. I could see that on top recommendations.
Yeah, exactly. And Nicole also travels a lot during the book.
Mm,
So she goes to Brazil, she goes to south of Spain, she goes to France. So she also uh talks about her time in these different cities. She goes to weddings abroad, so you kind of get a idea like, oh, that's so interesting. I just visited this place 2 weeks ago, and now I'm reading about it in this book. So yeah, I think
Mhm.
it has a lot to offer.
Definitely. Nicole seems very fun and interesting. Golly.
Mhm.
And I'm curious, what is your favorite place in Japan or in the world as a person who's running an entire travel agency?
Oh, that's a difficult question for sure. Um, well, in Japan, I quite like Koyasan. So
Hmm.
Koyasan is about an hour away from Osaka.
Hmm.
And it's on a mountain, and it's where Buddhism was first introduced to Japan. So Bodhisattva went from India to China to Japan and
Hmm.
introduced Buddhism there. So the whole mountain exists mostly of monasteries where you
Hmm.
can spend the night. There is a tiny city center with a few restaurants and some shops, but
Hmm.
it mostly revolves about the monastic life and there's a lot of nature. There's a lot of really tall cypress trees. There's the largest cemetery in Japan.
Oh,
So when you come there, what is most noticeable to me is that it's just so calm and so
peaceful.
soothing. You don't hear all the city noises. You hear the birds and you smell the trees, and it's just so relaxing to walk there and to enjoy nature and do some meditation and eat the vegetarian monastery foods. So, yeah, I
Mm.
think it's definitely a very different experience than going to Tokyo or Osaka or Kyoto. I mean, these
Yeah,
bucket cities are interesting, but this is a very different side of Japan.
yeah, definitely. I think not many people know about that place, and it is a entire contrast of Japan and still like very peaceful vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I I do want to see that because like I love like temples, monasteries, wherever it is peaceful, I'm there. And my favorite is there is a nature reserve in Palo Alto. Um, it's like middle of the bay. Um, Not many people know about the place. Probably after this, people will know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there is a wooden bridge that goes into middle of the water. You can oversee like two different bridges that are um, connecting the Bay Area, and you see entire bay
Mm-hmm.
on South Bay from the front as well as in the back. You have the East Palo Alto Airport. So where you see like the Westerners, tiny pilots who are learning,
Mm-hmm.
just landing, amazing sunset, very peaceful. And if you are there regular, you kind of notice like how a moon um, transitions would have effect on the water in the bay, like the current, because like bay is very secure, but it's still at the same time there will be rise in water and drop in water because of the currents that are actually from the Pacific Ocean and also seasonal. You see birds like ducks, different types of migratory birds
Mm-hmm.
all year round. Yeah.
Ah, that sounds very nice. Yeah, very beautiful. Yeah, I was in Colombia at the end of last year and the beginning of this year. I
Hmm.
spent around 3 months in Medellin, um,
Hmm.
in Colombia, and it just made me so happy because the city is very vibrant and very colorful, and the people are also very passionate, and it's quite hilly. So the city is inside a bay, so there's a river that crosses the a valley, I should say, that crosses the valley, and then there's mountains on both sides. So
Hmm.
if you are staying in a place with view of the mountains, you just open the curtains and you see the mountains and you see the sunrise. It just
Hmm.
made me so happy every day to have such an amazing view and be inside nature, but still inside a city. So yeah, I really liked it, and it's very cheap also.
Yeah.
So since I get paid in euros
Oh,
and I have to spend yen to pay
mm.
my staff, I'm actually doing quite well. So yeah, that's definitely a benefit. And if you then are in Colombia where they have Colombian pesos, then everything is extremely cheap for you.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Like when I was traveling just out of US, I felt a lot of places were actually cheap because you're spending in dollars. And even like UAE felt very cheap. But on the other hand, like when you come from other places, you do feel the expensiveness. Like let's say you're coming from Thailand to spend it in Germany, or not Germany, I would say more Paris. So I
Well,
heard
all of
Germany
it
is a little bit,
has gotten quite expensive, I feel like Amsterdam as well, like compared to 10 years ago.
yeah,
The housing prices, like to rent a place or even to get a hotel or Airbnb, is just gotten crazy expensive nowadays. So,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, Netherlands is a nice country to travel in, but it's gotten definitely very expensive.
I agree. Like when I think my friend was studying in TU Delft, he was like, bro, this is very cheap. Like he lived on like 600, 700 euro apartment that actually has a pool, everything. Now he's like, those days are gone.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Unfortunately. Yeah,
yeah,
when I was a student, I had 30 square meters and I only paid around 330 euros a month, including electricity and gas
oh wow.
and Wi-Fi. So it was super cheap, but unfortunately, those days are gone.
Yeah, definitely. And even here, like education wise, other when I came here, it was like 35,000 per year per university, some of the universities. Now they became like for bachelor programs, $100,000 per year. I'm like, what is it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And on top of that, you live in a city where you have to pay rent of like $2,000 a monthly. And
Yeah.
again, expenses of $1,000 to $2,000. So
Hmm.
$4,000 you're spending on top of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, now everything gotten really expensive.
Yeah, and I don't think you necessarily get the same value anymore because I feel that except for some of the basics, the most things that I learned through college, I never really applied much outside school.
Hmm.
So I felt that the most of what I learned was during my first few jobs after school. That's where I learned the most, and not so much while I was in school.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
And
it's
current,
yeah, for your general education and to know certain things, but I don't feel it's very practical and definitely not worth $100,000 annually.
yeah. And I've met guys that actually, these are recent Gen Zers, I would say,
Mhm.
um, who basically skipped school and during 2020. Um, some people started a crypto firm where they got even raised like few $1 million within a couple of years in the first year. I was like, huh, how are you able to skip school and raise this much? And network is the key, obviously. And your experience on implementation matters. Like how initially we think that, oh, our journey, it might not go here and it will take you in the best way. Like how one of your friend visited and said, oh, why can't you start this website? Ended up being now you have 70 people working with you, under you. And it just time and implementation matters and the entire network you can grow and how well you can implement that matters rather than education at this point. Education gets you
To a
places.
certain
Yeah.
point only. Yeah, I feel like you have to have a willingness to take a risk
Yes.
that most people will not be willing to take, and also to be able to jump in without having all the answers. Because if you wait until that time,
Yeah.
when you have all the answers and you won't have a chance anymore. So you need to dive in quickly and learn on the job and maybe make mistakes, but also learn how to deal with those mistakes and attract good people around you, understand where your strengths lies, but
Yeah.
also where your weaknesses are, and try to attract people to come and work with you who complement whatever it is you do, because there's no such thing as the perfect leader. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. So if you are like, It's my way or the highway, and I have all the answers, and we're gonna do it like this," then you might miss out on so many things. So if I hire new people, I always ask them, like, what do you think I should change?
Yeah.
What notice? Do you have any ideas? What will be the next big thing? And I try to learn from the people around me because I'm not perfect. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I'm always open to new ideas and trying new things. And even if it doesn't work out, at least you've learned from it that that's not the way forward, and that can sometimes be equally valuable, if not more so, than
Yeah.
doing one idea, doing it right, and then keeping it as is.
I'm curious on what is your biggest lesson learned and at what point of time you had that lesson and that turned you into a different person or have a different perspective to you. I'm
Yeah.
just curious.
Yeah, like I said, just jump in.
Hmm.
If you have an idea and you have done your research and you've done your benchmarking and you know a little bit about the market, try to work on an idea that doesn't require a lot of investment in money or in assets, but try to find an idea that might require a lot of investment in time. But if it doesn't work out, then you don't lose your house or lose your car or whatever, or lose all
Yeah.
your savings. So try to figure out, like, what type of problems are there still out there, and work from the problem perspective first. So what are some of the problems clients today are facing, and how can I make their life easier?
Yeah.
And try to figure it out in a way that doesn't require you to spend a lot of money and still be able to pull it off. And also have an idea that is scalable and that doesn't become redundant in a while. Like, for instance, CDs.
Yeah,
Totally redundant. MP3 is completely redundant. Uh, so of course you cannot always understand, like, okay, in 10 years time no one's going to use CDs anymore, no one's going to use an iPod, no one's going to use whatever. But yeah, try to keep your ear to the ground, see what the trends are, and try to stay ahead of what's coming.
that's a good tip because like a lot of people, a lot of businesses died down because they were not able to upkeep with the trends that were happening, or because trends don't sometimes they're short-lived. Some of them change, disrupt the industry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you need to stay ahead, like listen to what's out there, try to stay flexible, try
Mhm.
to always be innovative. Like, what can we try that's new that no one else is doing right now? And then see if it works. And if it doesn't work, then, well, at least you've tried. Maybe the timing is not right,
Yeah,
or maybe there's another reason, but at least you've tried. And that way you can always keep growing, keep reinventing yourself, and know where your strengths lie
yeah,
and focus heavily on that. Like, our strength with Tokyo Tours is that we are extremely flexible, and we have the perfect guide for any person or any situation. So no matter what your interest is, or what language you speak, or what your expectations are, as long as you communicate it clearly to us, we are able to find the perfect guide for you and accommodate all of your wishes and interests and have the best trip in Japan ever.
definitely. I think Tokyo Tour sounds amazing because like you're knowing from the person's interests, and you're giving them, trying to give them the best experience as how much they communicated to us, because sometimes some people pull back, but it's like going to a doctor and you need to tell what exactly is happening so they can treat the, I don't know whether it's a correct comparison, but
Yeah, exactly. No, but I mean, when I first started out, the problem was that there was not a lot of information available online. So for people coming to Japan, it was really hard to find
mhm,
all the information on where to go, what to do. And now the opposite is the case. Now there's an overload of information. So people are like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And of course, you can use AI and ask AI to create an itinerary. But because I have lived and worked in Japan since 2011, I can check AI and I can immediately spot, oh, it's giving me recommendation of a place that doesn't even exist anymore. Or, oh, it's telling me to go here and I actually know they're closed for renovation.
mhm.
So you cannot just blindly think, oh, AI is going to solve all my problems and now I don't have to do anything anymore, because a lot of the time AI is wrong and will
Yeah.
steer you in the wrong direction. I mean, we had a VIP group with the chef, and
Mhm.
he came up with his own itinerary. And fortunately, our Tokyo guides were with them every day,
Yeah.
because like they wanted to go to restaurants that were long since closed. Um,
Oh,
they didn't know how to make reservations for some places. They thought, oh, this place we can go to, but actually it was really small, so it could not accommodate a large group like theirs. So there were so many mistakes in the itinerary, and the only way it was solved is because there was someone on the
yeah.
ground running, well, who was putting out all the little fires that the client had created with their perfect AI itinerary. So yeah, definitely you can't just rely on that and think everything
Entirely.
all right.
It reminded me, like basically like a small story like yours. I was basically planning for a friend's birthday, and there is this place I knew that it was open, and I was like, "Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect." When I was like 1 week before that, I'm like going to call the restaurant and ask for a table. Then it does not go through. Then I again, since I know the place, I went there, and the restaurant is not there. They changed the place,
Yeah, exactly. So
and
yeah, you have to check and double check everything. You can't just feed your client AI generated itinerary and then expect everything to be all right, because nine times out of 10, there's still uh, 6 or 7 points that require your attention.
yeah, definitely. That's why still we all have our job and able to do
Yeah,
this.
exactly. And especially in hospitality, I think eventually there will be a premium for personal contact, because if you're able to take a driverless taxi or a driverless train or use AI
Yeah,
robot to help you with a lot of things, then you are going to maybe think like, oh no, I want to know how local people experiences these things, and I want to hear the personal stories that you cannot read in the guidebooks. So
yeah,
I think our job is going to be appreciated more, not less.
yeah, definitely. I think thinking of even just now, like when you go to a coffee shop, there are people who do a good smile service, and there are people just leave the coffee on table. And
Mhm.
you tend to find places that are actually doing good service. Hi, hello, how are you? How's your day? And here's your $7 coffee. But everything goes, it's not just the coffee that is giving the good experience, it's the human behind it is making the experience a lot better, a lot personable, and a lot happier. Like imagine a robo chef that can make the same thing, but you do not want that because like you can always have frozen food or you can have just food cooked for you from a takeout, but you do want to go to the restaurant surrounded with people.
Yeah, for the whole atmosphere and the whole experience. So
Yeah,
totally, totally different experience to, like you said, go to a restaurant or just get a takeout. So yeah, I think people are going to appreciate it even more, this aspect of traveling or dining out, rather
yeah,
than less, and be like, no, we want cheap, we want everything automated, we don't want to see people, we just want quick and dirty, and then that's fine. Of course, there are going to be people that focus mostly on that. I mean, we sometimes have clients that just want to take the picture, go to the next spot, take the next picture just to show their friends that they've been everywhere, and they're
yeah,
not interested in the backstories or anything like that. They just want to collect as many photos as possible and then say to their friends, see, I've been here, just for the Instagram, and then
yeah,
that's it. But fortunately, most people are not like that.
yeah. I agree. Like a lot of people still are today, they want the experience, and some people they just want the photos because they're content creators or something. But a lot of people want the experience. Even now, like I'm doing YouTube channel, but like the travel that I do is literally I don't take videos or anything because I just want to save it here, not with the photos because
Be behind your camera the whole time and miss
yeah,
what.
yeah, that's one of my rule of travel, like take as less as photos as possible. This I learned from like there was a flower arboretum that I went in Singapore and there was like mom and daughter just walking through, not taking any photos. And I was like thinking why they did not take any photos. I was like, oh my God, this flower is so beautiful. And why are
Yeah.
they not taking photo of this flower? This is like buzzing in my head. And then, okay, let me try what they did today. No
Hmm.
photos, nothing. Go to a random restaurant that I did not make itinerary of. Try seeing what experience you can get.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And take a left, take a right, and make a magic game out of it sometimes. Like, where did you
Oh,
end?
yeah, exactly. Especially during COVID because it was so boring. I would go on walks and then I made a game out of it. Whichever traffic light would turn green first, then that direction I was heading in. And sometimes I ended up in these weird places like, oh my God, I've never been here before. This is interesting.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I did the similar, not with traffic light, but just mine left, mine right. Whatever it was saying. I ended up going into like a 6 hours road trip. But that took me almost close to end of New York border. So yeah, that was funny.
Good
And it's an
experience.
interesting, great experience. I think I would recommend everyone to not being decisive on doing when you're traveling, at least for a day, and doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm curious, like for this summer, probably when people want to travel, what do you think people should do in Tokyo or in Japan that you would recommend? Or any other destination that you think people should go to?
Well, Tokyo is gonna be crazy hot in summer. So June, it usually starts to rain, and then July and August you have the humidity, from the rain and then the sun. So it's crazy hot.
Hmm.
So I would advise people to either go to Izu Peninsula or to the south to Okinawa
Hmm.
or up north. So Hokkaido, you have the Lake Biwa. That's really beautiful. It's super blue water, and then with the trees, it's very pretty. Um, and you have Furano, where there's lots of fields with flowers and
Hmm.
even lavender. So you should probably go end of June, early July if you want to see the lavender.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, in the north, it's much more comfortable because it's not so crazy hot.
Hmm.
Or if you go to the islands, at least you have a little bit of a breeze. And
Hmm.
it's much better because Tokyo, there's so much asphalt, there's so many ACs that are blasting hot air, it just doesn't cool down. So it's like a nightmare. So I would definitely not recommending going there in July or August.
Hmm.
And September can have a lot of typhoons. So September can be a bit hit and miss. Sometimes it's nice, sometimes not. But especially later in the year when the autumn leaves come, then it's a very nice place to be. Medellin, where I was in Colombia, they say it has eternal spring.
Oh.
So all year round, it's around 20, 25 degrees. So it's really nice. And their winter, no, their summer is our winter. So uh, December, January, February is summertime in Colombia. So it's really, really nice to go there. So if you don't like the cold and you don't want to go skiing or snowboarding, then go to Colombia and you'll have a great time.
Wow. Yeah, and also like now it's going to be winter in South because it's summer.
Hmm.
And I do. want to go to Meridian, and I want to do both Brazil and Colombia at the same time. That's my goal. I'm thinking going in probably next year. Hopefully, everything goes well.
Well, the downside with Colombia is that it's very mountainous and
Yeah.
the roads are not always really great. So even if it's only 60 kilometers, it still takes you 3 hours to get there because the roads are so crappy. So everything takes a lot longer than you expect. So if you go with that mindset, I think Brazil, especially along the coast, like Rio and Sao Paulo, is a bit better compared
Yeah.
to, yeah, has better infrastructure. But yeah, and also Brazil is pretty big. So especially if you want to go inland and go see the Amazons, then you definitely have to take a bit more time to really explore that. And of course, get all the vaccinations because, yeah, you can get sick.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that was recommended vaccinations and Amazon rainforest I've always wanted to see, but even it's still unexplored in a sense
Yeah.
because there's a lot. It's one of the biggest dense forests in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and there are literally towns on border of those forests, north and south of it, and they are not at all connected. You just gotta take a helicopter ride.
Yeah, exactly. And don't skimp on a good local guide because you're gonna need it.
Yeah, when you don't know the language, let's say like you need. Um, my colleague actually went to Colombia and had local guide. They also even went to like some waterfall and national forests, and later they went to Antarctica, but that's a whole story. And they had one of the best experience because like um, these places are not even in Google Maps
Yeah.
that were registered, and these places um, needed people to navigate it through. Sometimes, like when they did not have that local guide, they had to ask people, and since they don't know the language, and Google Translate, even it though it works, but it does not work
Yeah.
fully extensively. So it's like typing, oh, wait, whatever you're saying, let me wait and first read it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, Google Translate doesn't really take into account the local dialect and the local way of speaking.
Yeah,
So when it translates, it really doesn't make any sense at all. So
yeah.
it's not always that convenient, but yeah.
I have a funny story on translation as well. And I don't know if you have time, but there was a one time I was doing a Romanian experience and I asked, "How are you in Romanian?"
Mhm.
And she said, "Good and all." And then, like, she asked the same question, and I said, Amanda. Amanda means fine. Um, Fine means n- when you're given a ticket, that's also fine.
Yes.
So Google translated like this fine as, oh, you did some violation. Here is your fine of $50.
Okay,
And
okay.
the other person was kind of clueless what I'm saying.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Those kind of things. So Google Translate doesn't always pick up on those things.
yeah,
So you think you're making sense, but actually you're not, and people are too polite to say anything, and you're just not able to get your point across.
yeah, definitely. And there are places you can actually navigate through the book of 30 Days a Language, but I think there are several places that are not 30 days a language, no lesson. Like you cannot learn Chinese in a 30 days
Wow.
or Japanese too. Even like I've been watching anime's whole life, I can understand bits of it still now.
Well, the thing is, with animes, they usually have a very distinct way of talking,
Yeah,
which is nothing like normal life. So
yeah,
use that kind of language when you meet people in real life, they're like, what is he doing? This doesn't make any sense at all.
yeah. Like I know I met a couple who basically talks to each other. Um, One an Irish English accent, who's a Chinese person, but learned English through Irish English accent, and all her friends were Irish at that point of time. And this girl basically learned from what is this movie Japanese or movie Korean? Yeah, Korean movies um situation, and speaks Korean in a movie style, all
Hmm.
rom-com Korean. And this guy
Oh,
basically speaks in Irish, English, and I don't know how they went along, but they went along.
okay, well, love conquers all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm curious, what is your love story? I'm just curious because like
My love story. Well, I met my husband when I was 29,
hmm
and I didn't particularly like him that much. But
hmm
my mom was really pushing me and said, he has a good job, he has his own house, you're not getting any younger, maybe you should just say yes. So I thought, okay, maybe she's right. Like before, I would mostly focus on, do I find this guy attractive? Is he cute? And then it wouldn't work out. So I went along with it. But it turned out that he wasn't a really good match. So I
hmm
stayed with him altogether 16 years.
Wow.
And yeah, in the end, we did get a divorce. So unfortunately, that didn't work out. But while I was in Colombia this last 3 months, at the end of 2025 and early 2026, I met this really nice Colombian guy, and
hmm
we lived together for 2 months in Colombia. Now we call each other every day. So yeah, he's coming to Netherlands this summer to be with me, and let's see how things develop. So that's a very nice development.
Yeah, I'm glad about your recent development, and I like that you spend time with him, and also like sorry for taking in the pressure. I think everyone goes through that pressure, and I'm trying to avoid that pressure. I also want a good love story, so it's hard to tell my parents because like I'm Indian. In India, everyone does arranged marriages,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Oh, I don't want the arranged marriage."
Well, what I've heard from other Indian people is that especially the women are very focused on, like, what do you bring to the table? How much money are you making? What family are you from? What kind of car do you drive? What do you have to offer me? What can you give me in terms of jewelry? Or what kind of holidays are we going to go on when we're together? So it's very focus on the material side of
Yeah,
life, where I think it's more important to find someone who envisions the same things you do. So if you love to travel and you're in love with someone that prefers to stay home like all of the time,
yeah,
then you're probably going to get annoyed at some point. At first, it might be nice and cozy, and then you'll be like, yeah, but can't we just travel just once? But you
yeah,
know, at the start, this person doesn't like to travel, so why are you trying to change them? So, the most important thing is, if at the beginning there is something you find annoying, then don't expect these people to change. So
Yeah,
either you have to learn to live with it, or you have to adapt how you handle this situation, because it's never going to get any better. It might even get worse. So yeah, early on you have to see what are the red flags, what are the pink flags, what can I deal with, what is definitely a no-go for me.
yeah,
And probably the more you are focused on finding a relationship, the more it's going to feel like a job interview. And that just
it's not good.
doesn't create a very natural atmosphere. So it rarely works out when you have that mindset. Like on the first date, you're already checking the checklist. Is this marriage material or no?
Yeah,
So the girl is gonna pick up on that, and then it's just not going to work. So it's
yeah,
better to just let it go and try to have fun, try to
yeah,
meet up with people, but just to do something fun together. Like do something you would want to do anyway,
yeah,
and just ask someone to come along. So worst case scenario, you're still gonna have a good time because you're doing the thing you want to do.
yeah,
And best case scenario, that person is gonna love what you love and
yeah,
hopefully love you as well. So then it can be a win-win situation.
yeah. No, I like your ideology of it. And I do agree. I see that there is a lot of aspect in materialism in Indian marriages that are happening these days. And one ideal person I've seen is my mom. Like she was more taught with values where saying, oh, keeping the family together, or like my dad gave my mom freedom, like to do whatever she wanted. And she came into business and literally like that was the stepping success of our family, where my mom is also entrepreneurial like you.
Mhm.
And she had one thought early 2000s and that took an entire different direction of the company. Like at that point of time we were only just manufacturing things.
Mhm.
Then they started selling a lot of different products, um, which changed me to study in US and have even both me and my brother to have goals. So that is one thing I admire in her, but I do not see that with a lot of other people where even my friends that who got married, oh, uh, is the guy working in the US? How much is he earning in US? Can he afford his place? Um, how much gold he has, or like his family has, or land his
Mhm.
family has. So it's like a stepping stone on the wealth aspect rather than like um, actual true marriage. And next, coming to the love, love is beautiful. I think when it is cherished, it will be cherished. You have to be mindful of the all the flags, but you need to you need to be yourself in it. And when you're yourself in it, you know that's the one. And there will be definitely compromises that happen, and you need to understand until what, even in the early stages, you know what this other person is willing to try. You cannot push the other person because I have a housemate that went through this. This guy was like um, deeply broken, but at the same time, he was holding back a lot. She thought she could change that guy, and I was like, no, you cannot.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
That's not how it works. They're gonna get worse. They're not gonna get better.
yeah, yeah. And 3 months in, she pulled the plug because like the guy was not sharing still. And last week she went on a date and she had one good date with one guy. They're dating now. The other date that she went on, um, this guy works in Wall Street finance, and he was like, "Oh, we will have great babies." I was like,
Oh my
"What?"
gosh. Yeah.
And turns out she came to know on the date that he had a 14-month-old baby, and she she's a PhD graduation. She's graduating PhD. So like he was like, our babies will be cute and pretty smart because we both are smart. And I was like,
Okay.
that was on the first date.
Yes. Take it easy, cowboy.
Yeah, yeah. So like there are both kinds of people where they just have fun on whatever the activity that they're going on, and they just have are being themselves and also like being accommodating to the other person and getting to like just living the moment
Yeah,
at
exactly.
least.
You need
Yeah,
get to know each other first, know if you like each other, and then you can talk about, but how do you see the future and what are your plans and your goals and your dreams and your desires. But that's not something for first date. That's after a few weeks of dating when you know you actually like the person.
yeah,
So yeah, that's very off-putting if you go. But I mean, I've had that before as well. Like people ask me on a first date, so do you want to have any more kids? I'm like, can I maybe first finish my coffee until we talk about that?
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of people. Anyway, I
yeah,
want to really thank you for this opportunity, but fortunately, I really
yes.
must run. I have some
It
other
is
stuff.
very late for you as well. Final thing to all our listeners and viewers. What is the final thing that you want to say to everyone? And we would love to have you again as well.
Yeah, well, of course, check out my social media channels. You can find me on all social media channels under Tokyo Tours. Tokyo is spelled with the letter
I
I,
will
not the Y.
attach it.
Yes, because it's the Dutch way of writing.
Oh,
Because I'm originally Dutch. Then you can also follow my personal Instagram account. That's Nikki Nicki underscore Amsterdam. And you can go to my website www.tokyotours.nl if you're interested in a tour, or elitetravelxp.com if you're looking for something a bit more luxury and a bit more taken care of. Then we definitely want to serve you and have an amazing time in Japan.
thank you very much. I will also attach the links in the podcast and the reels that we will be sharing. So people will be, whoever is planning trip to Tokyo will be able to contact you for the best things, best experiences they want. And thanks for having here today